Good to see you too. So no, yeah, I mean it's that time of year. Football fans, Lions fans in particular, we're ready to go. So great to be here.
What would be your advice for them not to get caught up in this hype though? You guys came after I think the 91 season and saw how that carried over to the next year. What would be your advice for these guys to buy into that and kind of build upon what happened last year?
I mean, I think that's important to understand that there is a lot of hype and just conversation, and so it's really just about these very important, significant days of camp where you're working on all your stuff and really perfecting who you're going to be, establishing your identity going forward. So it really is, for us fans, we can really continue to harp on last year and all that kind of stuff. But for these guys, it's about, going forward and being focused and understanding that, they're a target and that these are like the most important days, because they're just mundane days of summer camp. But, you're really taking strides on literally who you're going to be this season, how you're going to compete. So it's too important.
Barry, what about this offense excites you the most? I mean, obviously a lot of diversity in the way they can attack. What do you, from your perspective, see and like the most?
Well, the most, I have to see, sort of a continuation of last year, just the great balance I think we had. I think we had defenses on their heels last year. I think, in a lot of ways we were maybe, a step ahead of the game. They didn't know where we were coming from, and so I would say the great balance. And obviously they have just really, they have, elite skill all over the place, right? I mean, up front, receivers, tight end had a great year. Obviously Jerry Goff, running backs. That's, they got a good thing going.
For Jahmyr Gibbs, what's the biggest key for him in order for him to take the second-year lead?
Well, I think understanding that, he can enjoy what he did last year, but now there's film on him. People have had a chance to really get a good offseason to see what kind of player he is in this scheme. And so it's not going to get any easier. So I think just understanding that yeah, it's only going to be more challenging, more difficult, but I'm sure he's up for it.
How much would you see the franchise mend that relationship with Calvin Johnson and get this honor as well, and for guys both to be celebrated, after going through what you had to go through with the organization to get back on this level?
Yeah, I think it was essential. It was, to be. I think it was something we all hoped for, and glad to see sort of fences get mended, time tends to do that in a lot of ways, and so obviously you never have to wonder what Calvin means to Lions fans and for this organization. So yeah, I know from another Lion, from one Lion to another in Calvin. It's only right, for him to get that recognition. He deserved it. And so I think, a lot of us felt like there was something missing. Glad to get that part done.
Well, guys, time for two more questions,
belief do you have in this front office and this coaching staff?
How much belief do I have? Oh, well, I think just as I mentioned, how just solid the offense is. Even, you look at even the other side of the ball, the defense, the playmakers. It all starts with Coach Campbell, Brad Holmes, Rod Wood. They put it all together. They've pretty much hit on every choice that they've made. And so that's what it takes. I mean, you look at teams that have been very successful, franchises that are successful, and those guys up front. At some point they got to figure something out, which these guys have done. And so to answer your question, yeah, great confidence.
Going back to the running backs for a second, you just talked about Jahmyr Gibbs, but him and David Montgomery as a tandem, what do you think will be the next step for them to take that actually? Is there another gear that you think they can take?
I think the next gear, from what they would say, is just they just need more carries. They need more carries. But no, I think just coming in and really duplicating in a lot of ways what they've done before. Obviously David has been a really solid running back in this league for many years. I don't know. I think 1,000 or near 1,000 yards every year he's played in the league. I think he's been great in the meeting room with Jahmyr. Just allowing him to see the game, and so, yeah, I think just continuing. I mean, every year is a new year. Just like I mentioned before, with teams, really studying now, having an off season to look at Jahmyr and see what kind of player he is. Well, David, he's been through that many times, right? So and always been just a great player, an asset to the offense, and so again, you know that this running game with this offensive line and these running backs is going to be a huge part of the success of this team. And if those two guys can stay healthy, then the sky's the limit.
How much do you just appreciate